Om. 42nd Sutra of the Vibhuti Pada. Kayakashayoho sambandha samyamat laghu tula samapatteshchakashagamanam. Kayakashayoho sambandha samyamal laghu tula samapatteshchakashagamanam. The previous sutra, the sambandha between Shrotra and Akasha was discussed. In this particular sutra, the sambandha of Kaya and Akasha. Kaya Akashayoho sambandha samyamat laghutula samapateshva Akasha gamanam. Kaya is body, Akasha is space, sambandha is a relationship, samyama on that, laghu light in weight, tula is cotton, a tuft, a small string of cotton, samapatti by through, cha and akasha space, gamanam movement, traveling, flying. That is how the sutra says. The beautiful particular sutra is very important as we keep on hearing about the levitation and all that. And the technique is given in this. And the logic is given in this. That it is possible. Possibilities are expressed. And the sutra is Kayakashayoho Laghu Tula Samapatti Akasha Gamanam. Kaya Akasha Sambandha it is. The relationship between body and the space. Sambandha is the relationship. Samyama on that. Laghu is light in weight. Laghu. Tula is cotton. Tula is cotton. Samapatte, performing samapatti, or samapatte on that, the procedure. Akasha gamanam, movement in akasha, flying in the akasha. Why the example of cotton is given in this is very worth to see. The relationship between body and the space. And if samyama is performed on that, one can gain akasha gamanam. Whole body, our own body, there is a space. Every cell there is a space. Between the cells there is a space. Akasha is avakasha actually. So there is a space between the cells, within the cells. Between the neurons, within the neurons. Between the two minutest blood cells, within the blood cell. In fact, there is a space. The whole body is a space. Just because some binding forces between the space, within the body or within the structure, a form has come. This body frame, this body structure is an outcome of some binding principles of the free space of the particles. The science, the modern science is almost proving or almost proved it. That it is actually an energy, shapeless energy, got into a shape. by the principles of binding. And that is the kaya, formation of body. And this kaya and the akasha, what is the sambandha, relationship? And if samyama is performed on that, and samapatti is through, by samapatti of the samyama. Akasha gamanam, and the example given by Maharshi Patanjali is Tula. Tula is cotton. All of us know cotton is heavier than space. Cotton is heavier than air, space, but still cotton floats. Even a dry leaf flies, even though the dry leaf is heavier than the air. But how? Why? How it happens? The classic example here is the cotton. Though it is heavier than the air, it still flies, floats, moves in air. Because the air gets trapped in its interstices. Because the air gets trapped into it. Even though it is heavier, it flies and moves. If it can happen with the cotton, naturally the question comes, why it cannot happen with our own body, which is also a combination of the particles and cells? And this is the possibility which we should perceive through and understand Maharshi Patanjali's presentation. And by performing samyama, samapatti of the sambandha of the kaya and akasha, yes, because the word cha is used there, samyama and samapatti, akasha gamanam comes. And Vyasabhashyam beautifully mentions that the sadhaka gets the power of roaming through space and walking over water with his feet. He walks over a spider's web and then walks over the rays of light. Then he gets the power of roaming through the space at will. These are all mediums. A spider's web is also heavier than the air, like a cotton. Of course, the particles of light are the particles, and the power of lightness of our own body comes into presence, into activity, into functionality by performing samyama and samapatti on the relationship of this body with the space. Akasha gamanam is possible. And as we see, it involves resolving the particles of the body into the space at one place and then reassembling it at its destination. And the physical body is made up of innumerable particles of the matter, and they are bound, held together by cohesive forces. And these forces are again part of the akasha, the universal medium. In fact, the existence of this body depends upon this relation between the particles of the body and the akasha. How wonderful it is Maharshi Patanjali is taking us to a most subtlest existence of the presence of this body. And if a yogi, a sadhaka performs samyama on this relation of the physical body with the akasha, and he acquires a knowledge of this force, cohesive forces, the binding forces, and power of manipulation comes as he likes, because he has understood the science. And after gaining this power, he brings about an ability to handle and manage it. He can disperse the particles, reassemble the particles at will. And that is where Laghu Tula Samapatti it is. Laghu Tula Samapatti it is. It's a very, very expressive, important phrase. Like in the cotton, like in the spider's web, the particles of the light. And as on today we keep hearing that there are mediums, there are materials by wearing which we will become invisible. The light is cut to be reflected. The modern science as on today, we hear that there are materials with which clothes are made, clothings are made, and by wearing the particular cloth made out of the special material, the body becomes invisible. Invisibility is what we have seen earlier. And these materials are available as a part of the Panchabhutas. It is a combinations of the Panchabhutas. So this particular sutra talks about the Akasha Gamanam, the 42nd sutra of the Maharshi Patanjali, performing samyama on the sambandha of the body and the Akasha, and performing samapatti on the Laghutula, the light weight and the cotton, the lightweightness of the cotton. Then the Akasha Gamanam comes. Let us see the further sutras of the Vibhuti Pada. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.